Good morning, all. In the last session, we have discussed the basic definition of casting, different types of casting, the basic advantage of casting over the other manufacturing process, the limitations and major application of casting. In this session, we will discuss the different types of casting patterns and different allowances which we are giving to the casting patterns. Okay, pattern as discussed in the last class, it is exact replica of the casting. So it will be having the same dimension, same geometry, and the difference will be it may not be made up of the same material. It may be and it may not be. So mostly the casting will be made up of a particular metal, but normal patterns will be made up of certain other materials like wood, plastic, polymers, or even wax. Also, we are having the metallic patterns also. Okay, so pattern is nothing but a replica of the casting, which which will be having the exact size but made up of different material. Okay, so what makes the pattern design very important is that the quality of the casting, it very much depends upon the quality of pattern, the dimension of the pattern. Okay, and also the add-on features which we require over the casting, like the halls, the provision for creating halls, the core prints which we have discussed last class, and also certain allowances like stringage allowance, machining allowance, etc., that we will be providing over the pattern, so that we will get a casting which is of the very accurate dimensional tolerance. So the major function of pattern is, the primary function of pattern is to create a mold cavity, okay, for casting. Then it also is used for providing the provision for placing the core, which is used for creating hollow shapes in the casting or complex shapes, which is having cavity geometry in the casting. Okay, for example, in the figure given, we are having a pattern. A pattern is having two projections at the end, and we are having the mold cavity on the right side. Okay, actually, the casting what we are requiring is having a particular geometry as it is, and it requires a hole, a through hole through its center. So what we will do is like we'll make that provision over the pattern. So we'll make the inverse projection over the pattern. Like if we are requiring a hole, we will create a projections over the pattern. So that's why like we can see a central projections in the pattern to create a mold cavity. So this mold cavity will create a provision in which we can place a straight rod. Okay, the straight rod which is made up of sand that we have discussed last class, which is called as core. So core will be placed at the central region in the mold cavity. So once we are pouring the molten metal, the molten metal will be filling all the vacant spaces or the in the mold cavity, but it will not fill the regions at the center where we have placed the core. So once the molding process is completed and the solidification is completed, and we are breaking out the mold cavity and we are removing the casting, we can easily remove the core out of this, which will give us a hollow casting. So this provision for creating holes by placing core is given over the pattern. Okay, that is another function of the pattern, to create provision for placing the core. So that allowance we are giving over the pattern. And then another thing is like we will be giving certain other allowance over the patterns, so that we will be having minimum post processing cost after the casting. The machining cost and other cost will be minimum if we are making a proper patterns. Next, we will discuss the various classification of patterns. One major classification of pattern is like based upon the components, like single piece pattern, two piece pattern, split pattern, okay, match patterns. That is one sort of classification, which is based on a number of pieces or number of individual components in the pattern. Another classification, or the major classification, is based upon the material used for creating this pattern, whether it is made up of metal, we will be having a metallic pattern. If it is made up of wood, we will be having a wood pattern. If it is made up of what we say plastic, we will be having a plastic pattern. And we also can create pattern in the form of wax. Okay, in the case of investment casting, we'll be using wax pattern. So then the pattern will be wax. If you are using wax, we will be having wax pattern. So we will be having metal pattern, wood pattern, plastic pattern, or wax pattern, depending upon our applications. For the conventional sand casting, normally we'll be using either the wooden pattern or the metallic patterns. But in the case of what we say, the advanced casting process, we'll be using the patterns made up of plastics or made up of what we say, made up of wax. So next is the major requirements for the pattern. Okay, it should be easily available material. It can be easily formed. It can be easily shaped. It can be easily joined. It should be light in weight, easy to carry from one place to another. It should be strong, hard, and durable. It should resist wear. It should resist corrosion, and it should be dimensional stable. If it is very much corrosive to atmospheric conditions and corrosive environment, it again will affect the quality of the casting, because like the dimensional change will happen and it will create a negative effect over the final casting. And the dimensional stability is also very much important. The pattern, actually it should not change with the environmental condition, and it should be what we say, it should be having high coefficient of thermal expansions, etc. Okay, and the most important, it should be low cost. Next we'll discuss the pattern allowance, or the allowances or tolerances which we are given over the pattern when compared to that of the casting. Okay, in certain cases we may make the pattern little higher in size or larger in size than the casting. In certain cases we'll make it comparatively lower in size, or in certain cases we will be creating intentionally some certain shape change in the pattern, so that the final casting should be having a desired features which we are already having. Okay, so we will be having different pattern allowances. The major function of the pattern allowance is it should give a tight tolerance to the casting. At the same time, it should reduce the machining cost and the further secondary operations after the casting. So the different and the major kinds of the pattern allowances are: first one is shrinkage allowance, also called as contraction allowance. Second one is draft allowance, also called as taper allowance. Third one is machining or finishing allowance. Fourth one is camber or distortion allowance, and the last one is the wrapping allowance. We will discuss each one in detail. So first one is the shrinkage allowance or the contraction allowance. As you know, during the casting process, we will be pouring the molten metal into the cavity, and as a result, upon the solidification, the molten metal will solidify and we'll get the final casting. But during this phase change, from the liquid to solid transformation, during the solidification, okay, or upon cooling, what will happen is that there is a shrinkage or contraction takes place inside the material. Also, there is a shrinkage when it is in liquid state also. Okay, so we can say there are two types of shrinkage. First one is the liquid shrinkage, second one is the solid shrinkage. In liquid shrinkage, we can compensate this liquid shrinkage by help of the molten metal stored inside the reservoir, which is the riser. So we know riser, the function of riser and runner. Riser actually act as a reservoir for molten metal. Riser is designed in such a way that it will be solidified at last during the entire casting process. Like after filling, after solidification of the molten metal in the cavity, only the molten metal in the riser will be solidifying. So there will be molten metal in which will be stored inside the riser, which can be used when we require. So the solidification initiate in the mold cavity. So the solidification starts once if shrinkage happening in the liquid state. That shrinkage will be compensated by the flow of molten metal from riser towards the mold cavity. Okay, that is liquid shrinkage and compensation for the liquid shrinkage. The second category is the solid shrinkage, the shrinkage or contraction which happens to the casting during the solid state transformation or in the solid stage. This cannot be compensated by the molten metal in the riser. In this case, what we are doing is we will make the casting little larger in size, and so that once it is shrinked or once it is contracting, it will give the exact size which is required for the particular application. So as a part of solid shrinkage, we will make the casting little bigger in size, sorry, the pattern little bigger in size, so that once it is shrinked, once the casting is shrinked, it will get the required size what we what we require for a particular application. Next one is the draft allowance, or also called as the taper allowance. While we remove the pattern out of the mold cavity during the what we say mold making process, there is a very there is a tendency that a part of sand will get falling into the mold cavity, or like there is a chance that the pattern will create a distortion in the surrounding regions of the mold cavity. In order to prevent this and in order to easy removal of the pattern out of the mold cavity, we normally used to make a little tapering for the pattern. So a small gradually varying cross section or small tapering or a small draft at a smaller angle is given over the pattern in a tolerable limit. This particular allowance is called as taper allowance. Because of taper allowance, we can easily remove the pattern out of the mold cavity, and thereby we can avoid that the breakage of the molding cavity, thereby increasing the cross section of the mold cavity. So again, this draft allowance will depends upon the length of the pattern, also the intricacity or the complexity of the pattern, the method of molding, the pattern material, whether we are using a metallic material or we are using a wooden material. It also depends upon the type of material. Okay, next one is the machining allowance. Okay, or also called as the finishing allowance. Okay, we know one major limitation of casting, which we discussed in last class, is that the surface finish of casting is very low, especially for the sand casting, because the mold cavity actually possesses the shape of the sand, so the surface profile of the sand. So in that sense, it will be having many undulations and irregularities over the surface. So if we need a particular application which we want a very smooth surface, in that case what we will do, we will be making the casting a little bigger than the actual one, so that we will be having a certain provision for doing machining over the casting, so that we will get a very neat surface. This can be done using different machine tools like blade, milling machine, drilling machine, etc. So we'll be providing a particular allowance for machining, further machining or secondary machining process in the casting. In order to create such a allowance in the casting, what we have to do, we have to increase the size of pattern, so that the pattern will be having a larger size than the required casting, so that the casting will be having larger size for machining. Okay, this particular type of allowance is called as machining allowance or finishing allowance. Okay, next one is the distortion allowance or camber allowance. Certain type of material, certain alloys of the metals, we are having a problem like there is a what we say there is a change in its shape subjected to various conditions. It might be environmental condition, sometimes it might be the varying because of the temperature during the higher temperature during the casting process, or certain other factors. But thing is like we have to use that particular material that is unavoidable. So in that case, for example, in the figure we have given a required shape for the casting, and once we are that required shape of the casting is actually the pattern which we are using. So we are using that pattern and we will get a shape which is in the second figure, which is a distorted casting. So it is having a curvature at the top. So which means it is due to certain expansion or certain internal stresses in the material. The pattern or the casting is having a distorted shape. So this is unavoidable. So what we have to do is like we have to put certain provision in the pattern such that we will get a good finished or exact sized product as required. So in that case, if this distortion is unavoidable or camber is unavoidable, we will do one thing is like we will create a pattern which is having the opposite shape of the distorted casting, or the distortion distorted castings negative shape. So if you are making a casting pattern as given in the figure 3, which is the cambered pattern, or what we say a distortion pattern, such an allowance if you are providing over the pattern and if you are doing the casting, after the casting we will get a required shape as in the figure 1. Okay, so in certain type of materials, due to certain internal stresses, we will be having a distortion in the final casting. In order to prevent this distortion, we will be providing a negative allowance or the reverse shape we will be creating over the pattern such that we will get a straight or required shape over the final casting. Okay, this particular modification of the casting is called as distortion allowance. Sorry, in the pattern is called as distortion allowance or camber allowance. The last one is the wrapping allowance. Wrapping is one phenomena very frequently takes place inside the casting. We'll be wrapping the sand to fill the mold cavity by using the hammer or the tools which we are used for casting. So this continuous wrapping in the sand will create certain enlargement in the mold cavity, especially when we are trying to remove the pattern. So in order to prevent this and for easy removal of the pattern out of the mold cavity, we will be providing certain wrapping allowance. So in wrapping allowance, what we are doing is we will be making the pattern smaller in size than the actual size of the cavity, so that when we are trying to wrap around this pattern for the easy removal of the pattern, there is a tendency for enlargement of the hole around the mold cavity such that that final shape is having the exact size required for the casting. And if you are not providing this wrapping allowance, what will happen is even if you are using the pattern of exact size, the mold cavity while we are doing the wrapping will try to enlarge in its size and we'll be having a bigger casting, which again will be required to machine further. So it is not that much economic. So we will be providing the wrapping allowance so that we will be having a very good casting of close dimensional tolerance. So this is all about the pattern allowance. Next is actually we have discussed the different pattern allowance. 5 pattern allowance we have discussed, and under which in certain cases we are providing allowance so that the pattern is made higher than the required casting. In certain case, we have made the pattern lower in size than the actual casting. So in that name, we can say it is positive allowance and negative allowance. So positive allowance in the sense we will be making the pattern larger in size than the casting. Negative allowance in the sense we will be making the pattern smaller in size than the actual casting. So among the discussed 5 allowances, if you are considering the first one, the shrinkage allowance or the contraction allowance. In case of shrinkage allowance and contraction allowance, especially the solid shrinkage allowance, we are providing an allowance such that we are making the pattern larger in size than the casting, so that upon shrinkage or contraction it will get the exact size. So we will be making the pattern bigger than the casting, so it is a positive allowance, for example for the positive allowance. Then if you are considering the, sorry, there is a mistake. If you are considering the machine allowance, in this case also actually we are making the size of the pattern larger than the casting size. So it is not actually the negative allowance as in the figure, but it actually comes under the positive allowance. So it is a mistake. So positive allowance examples are shrinkage or contraction allowance. Also the machining allowance will come under positive allowance. In case of negative elements, we'll be actually having a pattern which is having size much smaller than that of the actual casting. For example, the last discussed one, which is the wrapping allowance. So wrapping allowance will come under negative allowance, positive allowance. Under positive allowance, we will be having the contraction allowance or shrinkage allowance, and also the machining allowance also fits under the positive allowance and not under the negative allowance. Okay, thank you.